Hello everybody. Got my Jason Isabel shirt on today. I got this on today because he just turned in his Country Music Association card with his wife Amanda Shires because they didn't mention John Prine at the CMA Awards. So wearing the shirt with pride today. Today we're going to talk about the song Something to Lose. Something to Lose is probably going to be the single on the album. Something to Lose came about because I was joking with Dick Darling that at some point we're going to make an album maybe again. I always told us it's going to be 30 years in. So we made 20 years in. I'm like, in 10 years, we'll make another album. So we had half songs, or I had half songs out there. I was working on one song with him, a song called Spaceman, which is going to be on the album. And I was trying to think of, maybe some more songs to write or, get inspired. And sometimes if I just see like a song title, it'll inspire me. So I reached out to Dick Darling. I said, hey, do you have any old song titles lying around that you're going to do something with? And he said, yeah, I got a bunch. I have a whole folder full. So he sent me a list, and they were probably, 15 or 20 on the text message. And on the text message, at one line, it said something to give. The next line down said, I think nothing to lose or something. And I read through them all, and I'm like, they're good, but really nothing's coming. Let's, put it aside. So the next day, I looked at it again, thought, hey, maybe something will come of this. I looked real quick, and then, my eyes kind of crossed as I saw, hey, something to lose. It's like I didn't see it the first time, and I'm like, oh, because it's 2 songs. But I'm like, hey, something to lose. What do I have to lose? It's like, hey, that could be a song. So I started thinking of it, and I had this piano part that I've had for 20 years. So sometimes I'll just sit down, want to bang on a piano, and I play this part, which is right here. Hi, Mark from the past. I'm going to play a little bit of Something to Lose for you, just a piano intro. Can we give you a feel for the song? All right. Thank you, Past Mark, for that. So I had this piano part. I've been playing with it recently, and I had this kind of melody going over just the first line. Melody was da 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 da, and I had the first line, which was I am scared, unrehearsed, and unprepared. So it was I am scared, unrehearsed, and unprepared. I thought, hey, that kind of works over that piano part. And then I was like, I also maybe kind of work with a song called Something to Lose. So I started playing around with it some more, and I'm like, that could be a great last line for a chorus. I got something to lose. I have a big build-up going to it. So I started messing around with it, and I ended up writing the chorus, and I had the big build-up in the song to the end of the first chorus where all the guitars are going to crash in. And I thought, well, that's great. I've always wanted a song where the guitars crash in halfway through. So I've got that going for me. And I have this beginning part. I got one line. Let's see what I can do with that. So over the next month or so, I start messing with the line, and I had another line, and well, I have 2 verses in a chorus. I was like, all right, this is working. Then one day working, I was inspired. So after working for a bit, lines popped in my head. So, wrote it down, went back to work, wrote it down, went back to work. And after work that day, I'm like, I got, a couple lines here. And I spent half an hour, wrote 2 verses in half an hour, which I never do. Some people out there can just sit down and write a song. I've sat down in my life, I think, once and just sat down and write like a whole song. Songs for me, they come in chunks, but it takes, months. I'll write, here's a verse, or here's a line, or here's a chorus. And then 2 months later, I'll get back to it and I'll write another line or something. So I had this song and I thought, well, that sounds pretty good. So I did a really quick demo of it musically. Then I sang it with my terrible vocals. Listened back and I'm like, it sounds terrible because I'm singing it and it was really quickly recorded, but there might be something here. So I shoot over to Dick Darling. I'm like, hey, listen to this. It's pure gold. So I realized if I tell him something's pure gold, he's going to automatically think it's good. So I'm like, hey, it's pure gold. I didn't hear anything for an hour, so I called him. I'm like, hey, did you hear the song? He's like, no, I didn't because internet's down. I have to use data, and data costs me money. I'm like, oh, okay, we talked about something else, or we're kids. So, I'm like, all right, whenever you hear it, tomorrow, next day, just give me a call back, or, give me a text or something. So about half an hour later, I get a text back. He said, I used some data, but it was worth it. That's a great song. So I was like, all right, we got an album. And I mean, we have an album because you need to have a song to have an album. I was listening to Tape Notes, which is a podcast where they talk about to a producer and a band about making an album. They're talking about the Limineers 3. And they talked to the producer on there, and he's like, so what did you think when they sent you Gloria, which is one of the songs on there? And the producer said, well, when they sent me Gloria, we had an album. They're like, you didn't know you had an album until then? He's like, no, you need a single. We have the single. You have an album when you have a single. Because an album's, 10, 12, 8 songs. If you keep Androids, it's okay if it's 8 songs. Otherwise, it could be more than 8 songs. But half the stuff out there, you hear 2 songs, listen to the rest of the album, I'm like, oh, this is crap. But those 2 songs are good. So you need a single. I remember listening to an interview with Noel Gallagher from Oasis. And I'm not saying I'm Oasis or anywhere near that, but listen to Noel Gallagher. He's like, in the early days, when we went to play shows or whatnot, were you ever worried, like, the other bands would be better, or, you wouldn't be the best, or you wouldn't get anywhere with it? And Noel's like, no, we had Live Forever. And they're like, what do you mean? He's like, it doesn't matter where we play, who we play with, what we do. As soon as you play Live Forever, nobody can touch it. We knew if the set was going terribly, we play Live Forever, and people go home and talk about how great we are. Because you have a song. I'm not saying Something to Lose is Live Forever, but I'm confidently saying it's a good song. I mean, hopefully it'll be the single. We'll see. We'll see how it comes out, how it's recorded, how it's mixed. I sent out a couple different mixers to see how they mix it. And whoever does the best job is going to get the album. So it's kind of be the litmus test for them as well. So we're going to see how it goes. Now, I'm going to play a little bit of it here for you. Now, what you're going to hear is going to be guitars, bass, keys. It's a very simple song. It's 2 guitars, bass, keys, drums, and vocals. There's other songs the album's going to be. There's going to be organs. There's going to be other singers. There's going to be brass on a song. But this is simple as can be. 2 guitars, keys, bass, organ, drums, vocals. So what you're going to hear is not going to have the drums. I'll put some drums in there, but it's not going to be the real drums. So please, Scott, if you're watching this, don't play this. So it's not going to be the real drums. And it's also a very vocal and drum heavy song. So you're not going to be hearing that. But here's a little bit of the second chorus and some of the outro as well. So here you go. I think that was okay. Passmark did it. So I've already done it before. So I haven't mixed it yet. Hopefully it's mixed well. It's also have drums pounding away. That's drums pounding away. I tell Scott, play drum beat, do this. He goes, That's how I do drums. When I talked to Scott about this song, he's like, oh, it's a Bob Seger song. Because I love Heartland Rock, and I mean, we grew up on Bob Seger. Scott and I talk in Bob Segerisms because we know every single note and every single lyric in both Nine Tonight and in Live Bullet. Which Live Bullet isn't up there. I had it before. I don't know what happened to Live Bullet. But, I mean, I know every single song in Live Bullet, every single note. Also, too, there we go, Nine Tonight. That one, too. So when I talked to Scott, you know, I want to play a beat. I'm like, play heavy music. And he's like, exactly knows what I'm talking about. So he just starts playing heavy music. Or I'm like, you know, play Against the Wind. Or on this album, on one song, he's actually going to be playing Hollywood Nights. I'm just like, I just say, hey, in the chorus, play Hollywood Nights. He's like, all right. And he just plays Hollywood Nights. You know, that's how we talk about drum grooves and, you know, working together. I mean, we've also played in rhythm sections together in bands for 25 years. So it's very easy for us to work. You know, usually I call him names. He calls me names. I say, you know, play Against the Wind or Night Moves or why can't I think of two Bob Seger songs right now? Play Get Out of Denver. And he's like, all right, I'll play Get Out of Denver. He plays Get Out of Denver and I play the bass part in bands. And it works. When you play with somebody for 25 years, it's very easy. mean, Scott knows what a pure nonsense song drum beat's supposed to sound like. He is a world-renowned expert at what a pure nonsense drum beat's supposed to sound like. So I can say, you know, play whatever, play Traveling Man, however. And he just plays Traveling Man, and I'll like just, you know, switch up ride here to hi-hat, and he switches up ride to hi-hat, and it's perfect. So at some point here, he's going to be coming over. We're going to do a album rehearsal. And right now we're 90% there on all the songs. He sent me all the phone recordings. And, you know, we talked back and forth. He's recorded some stuff on the phone. And when he's coming here, you know, he knows what the beats are supposed to be. He knows what the songs are supposed to sound like. So all we're going to do is we'll get down there. I'll just make sure he hits certain hits somewhere. And maybe, you know, hey, I don't know how this is working here. Take from the ride, maybe go to the hi-hat or something. The song's figured out. And that's how, hopefully at some point, we'll just record drums in 2 days, because he just has to come down. He'll know the parts. Set up, record the drums, 2 or 3 takes. Good to go. Go to the next song. If you're listening to the guitar part at the end of the song, you're like, hey, that sounds a little familiar. It's because I'm basically ripping off Streets Have No Name from U2. So if you're going to rip off, you rip off from the best. I didn't know that when I wrote the part. You know, plus it's not ripping it off too much, but I was playing the part, and then at some point, you know, I got my pedal out, and I was playing some 8s on it, so I started going, I'm like, hey, that's the same thing I play on Something to Lose. Look at that. You probably not point that out for people on the internet. So I cut it out, but I do this in every single video for like 5 minutes. Middle, and middle, and middle, and bottoms, tops, bottoms, tops, bottoms, middle. All right, I'm pretty sure that wasn't coherent at all. In the next video, we're going to talk about budgeting some. We're going to talk about why I'm doing this. So see you for the next video. Bye. Tops, bottoms, tops, bottoms. No, go away. Go away, kitty.